Ashley here with Crazy Brave Homeschool. Welcome back. If you're new here, I am a homeschool mom to a second grader and a TKer, which means transitional kindergarten. And today I'm going to talk all about how we notebook in our homeschool. So we have, I guess I've always considered our homeschool as being Charlotte Mason inspired. We are getting closer to more of a pure Charlotte Mason homeschool in ways that I'm going to talk about in another video. I'm realizing as I learn more and more about the Charlotte Mason principles of education, that we have actually been sort of somewhat far from a lot of those principles, and then not so far from others. So I'm excited to dive deeper into that philosophy to let you guys know what our plans are moving forward. And but notebooking is a huge part of a Charlotte Mason homeschool. So when I first started looking into notebooking, I didn't exactly know how to do it, right? And we have been dipping our toes into notebooking quite a bit throughout the last 2 years of homeschooling. So we've been technically homeschooling for 3, but this is our second year of like formal homeschooling. And yeah, notebooking's been a huge part of it. So what I want to do is show you guys the actual notebooks and what I'm using for my second grader and my TKer, and then also what I'm using for myself. So let's just jump into it. It definitely feels like we have a lot of notebooks, and I don't know if that will tighten up and become fewer as we get more and more accustomed to a Charlotte Mason homeschool. I really can't say because all of these feel pretty necessary to me right now. So anyway, this is what we have, and who knows if it'll change. All right, so for my daughter, I have notebooks for 2 nature studies, which is pretty silly. We are doing Treehouse Schoolhouse. This is mostly for my son. I mean, my daughter might do a little bit more of it just because she's older, but it really is for my son. But she just, she likes to be a part of it. And then our actual nature study sketchbooks. I have notebooks for history, so I'll show you what that's all about. I have a notebook for geography. I have language arts notebooks, which right now this comprises of 3 for 3 different things. I have math notebooks. Yes, our math notebook is in a giant sketchbook, and I'm excited to show you why. And then lastly, for her, I have our timeline notebook, or in other words, a book of centuries. So I'm going to do brief flip throughs of those notebooks. And then for my TKer, I only have 3. I have his nature study notebook, which is really a portfolio. I have just a general notebook for all of his subjects. And then I have his math notebook. So I'm going to do a really brief flip through of all of those. And then if you're interested, at the end, I'll show you what I myself use as for my own notebooking. So I think first I'll give you guys a glimpse at my daughter's nature journals. So we just started a brand new one for this year. So we haven't done a whole lot. And I can't tell you what everything is, but this is just, it's just to give you an idea of what a 7-year-old's nature notebook might look like. She's not, writing a whole lot. So when I do ask her to write, it's typically not going to be in something that I want her to enjoy doing, like her nature notebooking. So sometimes I will write things for her. This one's probably my favorite of this year, the orange tree in our front yard. This was an apple in autumn colors. And that is all we've done so far this year. For her nature study, we're doing autumn, which is a 13-week study with Treehouse Schoolhouse. What we do for this, they recommend that you actually do a nature study every week of the given topic. What my kids like to do is they like to replicate the picture study that we study that week. So most of the paintings in here are of the picture study, and then I'll also add in various worksheets if we do them. And that is as far as we've gotten in Treehouse Schoolhouse this year. Okay, so for geography, this is going to last us a while. This is from School Nest. These are pretty fat books. So for someone my daughter's age, especially who's not doing a ton of writing yet, this will probably last us a few grades. As you can see, I've labeled first grade. We started this towards the end of last year, and then I've got second grade started. So we're using this for both U.S. Geography and World Geography. Our U.S. Geography curriculum with Beautiful Feet books recommended keeping a notebook. And so this is where they've got the space to draw and then to write. And we've, just done some various geographical notes like compass work. This was like a map of our house, like the inside of our house. We did a lot of definitions of different like geographical concepts. And then we did, for about 5 weeks, we did an animal geography unit where we had a drawing instruction book or video to draw the animal that we studied, and then each week I'd have them write where the animal was from, where they lived, what kind of environment they lived in, what they ate, if they were endangered, and maybe a fun fact. And this would typically be copy work that she would be doing. Her little drawings are really cute. The drawing instruction went well. They didn't enjoy this unit as much as I had hoped they would. But, they definitely learned a few things, and the drawing part, I think, was the funnest. So that's as far as we've come in our geography notebooking. Just gives you a couple ideas of what that could look like. This is probably my favorite notebook that we have done. This was started last year in January, and then we are finishing it up very soon. We've filled up almost this whole thing with our American Girl history. I showed definitely a good chunk of this in my American Girl history review. So I'll just kind of quickly go through a few things here, but for each girl I made tabs, and each girl had her own notebooking assignments. Most of these assignments came from the curriculum itself, and then sometimes I would just have her narrate maybe one of her favorite books that she read. So the curriculum recommended to use a large sketchbook so that it can easily fit a lot of these sheets and to just give the kids more space to draw. So this history went from mid-1700s to, we're going to end on the 1940s with World War II. But I would draw in these lines and then use our block crayons to just give it a little bit of color and help her to see where she needed to be writing. So as you can see, from almost a year ago, her writing was definitely younger, less developed than it is now. So this, let me flip forward to this year. So this was Samantha. And again, I definitely do some of the writing for her if she's already done, or my husband, if she's already done writing that day. This was a cute, she liked this. This was a cute newspaper idea from Kit's book series, because Kit wanted to be a news reporter, and my daughter is still very much into the idea of writing newspapers. Today she was on Canva, which is a website, and she put together her own newspaper about a fight that she had with her friend, and she got to choose the graphics and the headlines, and then she told me the story and I typed it out, and obviously I'm not going to show it to you. It's very personal, but she's really proud of it. And I mean, how cool. Canva is such a great resource. This was the dust bowl craft we did. So I would put this in a sheet protector and then just staple it in so that I can save it. Yeah, she likes when she thinks all the drama is really exciting in her books and in her own life. So this is almost done. We are ending on Molly in the next 4 weeks, and then this will be over. This is my favorite notebook that she's made. So we also do notebooking for language arts. These are 3 different things. So the first thing I've shown before in my McGuffey videos, I got this from Land of Kakiak on Etsy. She has a lot of companion notebooks that accompany the McGuffey, if that's how you're teaching language arts. This I've kind of gone through before. I'm not going to go much into it, but each lesson has like 5 different pages. One is for vocabulary words that we use for spelling. One is for copy work. One is for dictation. There's another copy work where we've been working on script, cursive, and then there's a narration page, and then it starts over. So this is what we've been doing now. I started using the Blumenfeld Alpha Phonics cursive course, which we've really been liking. That is free. If you're interested in where to find that course, where to print it off, leave it in the comments and I'll let you know. So yeah, this has been great. I only printed off the first 25 lessons of this. It's a big book. I didn't know how long, or I didn't know how it would go, if we would like it. But we are, you know, really into it now and going to be running out here in probably like 8 more lessons. So I'm going to have to print out another one and make another notebook to get us through the rest of our McGuffey reader. But anyway, yeah, this has been working really well. So it's like, you know, all of language arts. You've got vocabulary, spelling, dictation, narration, copy work, and cursive handwriting. So it's a great notebook. It covers so much. Another way that we are using notebooking, this is what we will be using the most next year, I think, are narration notebooks. So as we move more into a pure Charlotte Mason homeschool, I will just be using one of these probably to write down her narrations. She won't be writing her own until 4th grade. But we just started this because I just kind of wanted to start getting our feet wet with her narrating back to me after each chapter of whatever book we're reading. So we've just started this. My daughter's a great narrator, though. She narrated through all of the books in Blossom and Root Language Arts last year. Her reading comprehension is great. So I'm not worried about it, but I just kind of want to start getting used to doing it with every book that we read for school. And then the last language arts notebook that we use, I love this too. So this is actually from last year. I haven't done another one yet with her because we have struggled to find a read aloud that we've been excited about. We're going to be starting a new one next month with the Chronicles of Narnia. And so this is basically like a book study notebook. We did just a little bit of Charlotte's Web, and then we moved into The Secret Garden. I found these on Teachers Pay Teacher, I think I got these on Teachers Pay Teachers. It's a whole huge PDF file of all these different, it's like a novel study guide, right? With all of these different printouts. And let me try to find another one. So here's like another one. Make predictions, vocabulary words. But so I would just put in, and so we also use novel study guides from Hearth Magic. And I would, you know, paste in anything from those guides from the book. And then I would paste in these. And then we also will do, you know, artwork in here and narrations. So this notebook covered 2 books because we didn't finish Charlotte's Web. But anyway, that is our language arts notebooking. Okay, then we have my daughter's math notebooking. This is her math notebook. It was started in 1st grade, and then I have a tab for 2nd grade. So this will probably last a little while because we don't do a ton of work in here. In fact, we don't do a ton of written math work right now. We work a lot with manipulatives and games. So for instance, this is some of her 1st grade work. I like these gridded math notebooks because they show the place value. And then into 2nd grade, this was like a game where we keep score. And that's it. So the bulk of any written work goes into a different workbook. And if you're curious where to find this, I'm sure you can find these on Amazon, but I got this from Simply Charlotte Mason. Okay, so then her math notebook, we do it in sort of a Waldorf style. We use Right Start Math, but I've decided I don't love the notebook that comes with Right Start Math because it's really boring. And I want her to be able to write bigger and use more color. So I've showed this before. Some of this is from a Waldorf Math that we were using at the beginning of the year just to try it out, but it didn't work very well. So I went back to just doing Right Start, and then I take her worksheets and I put them in here. I think that this is a more enjoyable way for her to go through her math education. Eventually, I would like her to start doing her own decorating on here. And then if it's a front and back, I just staple it in so that you can see both sides. So the reason there's so many stapled in here is because I didn't have the idea to do this until she was well into her workbook this year. But I'll show you what I'm starting to do now. So this was like the last one that I stapled in. Moving forward, sorry, this is like, table's not big enough. Moving forward, I am writing in the worksheet. So I look at the worksheet that comes with the math program, and then it's extra work for me, but I just think it's more enjoyable to look at. And so that's what our math will look like. Here's another example. She hasn't gotten to this lesson yet. And then she did some various math last week, so I just stapled those in here. You know what I mean? This is just like a lovelier way to enjoy her math lessons or her math work. You know what I mean? And then you can also add a table of contents here. So when she looks back, she can kind of see like her cumulative journey of math concepts in this book anyway. So that's her math. And then last, I have her history notebook. So this is just a history timeline. You know, she's still really young. We don't need to be using this all the time. But because we have studied U.S. history with the American Girls, I wanted to get this for her so that we could add in a couple of things. Obviously, U.S. history started way later. So we are just around 1700 and up is what we have studied. But I'll show you kind of what I've done with this for some of the things. So I do have her write things in occasionally, but what I got were these history timeline stickers off of Etsy. And I don't have sticker paper, so I just printed them on cardstock, and we use washi tape, which as you can see is not very sticky, to put in the historical events. The War of 1812. And then we have a few more here. Sometimes I'll just add, you know, I'll write things in for her as the events come up. You know, this is just a really early introduction. The Great Depression we just studied with Kit's character. But I might be as far as we've come. Yeah. But anyway, this is going to be a book that we will have throughout her entire education. And it's just great. I'm really loving the School Nest notebooks. Okay, so for my son, I did forget to mention he has his own nature journal. So this is his from this year. Again, we're early in the year, so there's not a ton in here yet. I love this one. This is his study of echinacea. Then he wanted to write it. It's just so cute. I love seeing his work. I don't know what that was. I think we were studying apples, but he wanted to do Halloween candy, which is so cute. And a little bug study. This is us at our favorite garden. They call it the fairy garden. And I think that's as far as he's come. Okay, so with his math notebook, kind of similar to my daughter's in the beginning, we had tried a Waldorf math program. And while I do really appreciate these number studies, the Waldorf teaching was just not totally my style. So I started him in Right Start Level A, which is like a kindergarten first grade curriculum, but he is really good at math and he really enjoys it. So I wasn't terribly concerned about how he would do. And if it ever gets too hard, which I'm assuming it will, then we will just pause and go back to playing with math concepts. But he's been enjoying it so far. So I've been putting his work in here. And then same thing with my daughter. Once I realized I really just wanted to use this as our main math notebook and not the worksheets from Right Start, I went in and I wrote what his math worksheets would look like. So it's more work on my end, but I think it's more fun for them and it gives him more space to write. So these are his math worksheets that are coming up. And then when he does little things like this, I'll put them in. And then his, oh wait, is this hers? No, that's his. So kind of the same thing. They just like to study the picture that we're studying that week and draw a painting from it. And then if he wants to do a little bit of handwriting, he can. I certainly do not insist that he does at all. You know, I encourage him if he wants to, but otherwise I really don't care. He didn't like this and he crumpled it up and threw it on the floor. But I'm like, no way. I love it. We're saving it. So this is what 4-year-old notebooking looks like. What was this? He just wanted to draw lines on this one. I said, okay. And then he drew a little mushroom. So that's our nature study work so far. Okay, and then this is probably my favorite notebook of his, just because it's just eclectic. It has a lot of different stuff in it. I didn't exactly know how we would use a notebook for him being so young, but he likes to draw and he likes to write. So I wanted him to have one, and I'm sure that this will go much longer past his TK year. But the way that we use this primarily is that with Treehouse Schoolhouse, we do read alouds, and then I will have him narrate one of the read alouds, but it's not even like narration. You know, he's barely 5 years old. So I really just ask him what his favorite part was, and then he can draw a little picture. Okay, so this is an example, like the octopus book we wrote, which clearly I couldn't remember the name. He drew a picture, and then he told me something interesting about octopus. Mushroom unit. Oh, this is just, so like in addition to the narrations from Treehouse Schoolhouse, I'll just put various work in here. So he wanted to draw a mushroom from the mushroom unit we did with elemental science. He wanted to do his own Mississippi River when we were doing geography with my daughter. I think that's supposed to be a duck. This is his diagram of how a tornado works. Really cute. This is just a lion that he colored, and then how cute the lion that he drew from the instructional book in Home, Africa. So sweet. And his favorite part of the spider book. This was a little habitat poster that he made. And then again, a little narration from the book, Fall Walk. Another narration. This is his armadillo. Is that not the cutest thing? And from apples, and just another coloring page. And his monkey. These guidebooks are really great, you know? Like, the kids just feel so proud because they drew something so good. And his little whale. His fox. I don't think we even studied foxes. I don't know where that came from. Another narration. Narration. Looks like my husband did most of his drawing for him on this one. He really liked this book though, Mooncake and Little Star. And then that's as far as we've come. So I'm actually so impressed with his body of work so far this year. He is definitely my little studious one. My daughter Poppy would rather be on roller skates in a wig, but my son tends to like more of this like sit down work. Okay, and then just to end this video, guys, this has been my notebooking program lately. I have been journaling since I was 12 years old. I probably have about 20 journals inside the house that I've saved. I don't journal really anymore, like the way that I used to. And then I became a poet for 10 years, which none of you know about me. I'll have to do like a show and tell sometime of like a get to know me. But anyway, I was a writer for a long time and I really wanted that to be my main gig. And then you have kids and life changes and yada, yada, yada. So I haven't been writing the way that I used to for several years now, but I have found a new kind of notebooking system that's a little bit more geared towards mother academia. And in addition to some other things. So I'll show you what these are for. This first one I definitely won't open. This is the most personal. This is my spiritual journey kind of notebook. So after my meditations or after dreams or after just like synchronicities that happen in my life, I like to keep track of them in my spiritual notebook. This is the second one I have filled up of this concept. I don't know if anyone's heard of this before, but it's a really great way to journal without having to journal very much. 1 line a day. So I already filled one of these up from last year, but every day, if you can remember every day, I just started this one about a week ago, you write 1 line a day, and I'll go ahead and just share one because why not? So today was lit up pumpkins, new slime, and zombie high music. Another one. Today the kids brought home crabs and fed a dead crab to our duck Saturn. Today was doing flips during reading lessons and homemade Halloween ice cream. Today was frustration, noise, and a hocus pocus movie night. Oh, this one's sad. Today was our duck getting eaten by an animal last night, Halloween school and board games at my dental cleaning. And today was getting a new duck, Ghosty, and trick-or-treating, Poppy a witch, Woody a dragon. So it's a way to like, you know, sort of like have these memories without having to just journal every day. And I've gotten away from journaling in terms of filling up notebooks. It's not my interest anymore. But this is a great way to look back and just have these sweet little nuggets of the day. A friend of mine gave me this idea. She's been doing it for years, and it's such a great way to memorialize parenting in a way that's doable, right? Okay, so another way that I have been notebooking I am trying to learn more about narration in the classic, pure Charlotte Mason sense. So I got The Art of Narration by Karen Glass. She's one of the founders of Ambleside Online, which is a free Charlotte Mason curriculum. And I started reading this because we're going to be doing much more narration in our homeschool. And it was so funny because after the first chapter, she says, okay, now narrate the first chapter. And I was like, what? Oh, okay. And I'm like, well, of course, like if I'm expecting my kids to narrate, then I should be narrating the things that I'm reading too. You know, I should understand where they're coming from. And I should also try to start embodying the growth and the development that happens with narration. You know, I should really try to understand it as their educator. So I grabbed one of our notebooks and I started narrating, you know, the first chapter and the second chapter, and it's definitely difficult, but I realized that right when you know that you need to narrate it, your attention is just like on, you know, you're really focused, you're geared in. And so I can imagine that that will start to happen with the children once they're really expected to continue narrating. So it was a really good exercise, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to do it with all the books that I read, just to like, you know, just so I can, you know, be there with my kids, know what they're going through. And also it's good for my brain. So then the last notebook that I have is really just, you know, it's my McGuffey Reader lesson book. I tried coming up with a schedule for the McGuffey readers for our language arts, but every day was just so different. So instead we do our lesson. I check off what I had written down from the previous day. And then after our lesson's over, I sit down and I write out what the next lesson's going to be. And then the next day I check all that off. I sit down, I write what our next lesson's going to be, and then, you know, so on and so forth. So this is working really well. I don't anticipate doing a system like this for all of our subjects by any means, but because the McGuffey readers don't come with like a, you know, set curriculum, you have to really like form it yourself. This has been working very well. Okay, so as usual, this video probably got way too long, but I hope you enjoyed seeing what notebooking looks like in our homeschool. I think this is really going to be an evolution for us. Our notebooking is going to look different every year, but right now I'm really enjoying just like trying out all of these different, like literally all these different notebooks, all these different styles, you know, with the School Nest notebooks, just the plain, you know, brown cover notebooks, the portfolios, the nature journals, the math sketchbooks. You know, it's like, it's fun to just try it all out and see what works best. And like, I think that having an eclectic mix of them is great because each subject is so different. So anyway, yeah, we're really enjoying it. And I know that we're going to stick with it. And I hope that you guys got some good ideas from it. Thanks. We'll see you soon. Bye.